Good evening. Good evening. It is Wednesday, and y'all know what we do on Wednesdays. Wednesdays, we are always going to be talking Titusville High School football here on PRMD because this is the Titusville High School's coaching show. And I add, I feel like it's a better show when we are after a Titusville Terrier win. But we'll get more into that in a few minutes. I got Coach Diesel here. He's locked and loaded and ready to go. And Coach, how you doing tonight?
What, the Telly? Man, what's going on? How you doing tonight?
Everything's good, man.
Good.
Where do we start, man? So we got us a win. That's most important. We got us a win. First win of the season. It felt good. It looked good. Everything about the game was good. I really enjoyed the game. I enjoyed watching the players grow up on the job. Like they are growing up. And this is no knock to Coach Holmes when I make this statement. I just think they've grown up over time. In comparison to last year, a lot of guys grew up on the job. A lot of guys would have emotionally responded differently, but when adversity strikes, I feel like they're always stepping up and being those guys.
Absolutely. You know, if you've coached any amount of time in high school and you put some years into a program, you can see as kids get older, in most cases, they do learn to deal with stuff a little better. You know, when they come in, they're young, right out of junior high. You know, you can definitely have some knucklehead syndrome, but no, they we definitely had our adversity. I tell you that was a good team. The McMillan kid coming back, he really they had a good team to begin with, but when he came back, he certainly kicked him up a couple notches. That kid is one heck of a football player, and they had the 0, they had 5. It's a good team. And I think they're going to win a lot of games.
I think he really helped them a whole lot because he really played quality DB on last week. I think he had an interception. He had an interception and a forced fumble, a bunch of tackles. So he really stepped up for them in a major way. Shout out to Jaden McMillan because I put a lot of pressure on him because there were people who came in spaces and was talking about if he was built for Egali and if he had the heart and if that. And I told him, I said, I'm coming to you as a man to apologize to you because you a ball player. you play ball, and anything they said is not true. So I gotta give you that. He is absolutely a ball player. He played they got a lot of guys. They got a lot of guys on their team that
whole defensive secondary, the wide receiver unit. Now some of them guys are pulling a little double duty. Man, they've got athletes. They're long, they're fast, they're athletic. I know there was one play, and I believe it was maybe the 0. Anyway, we're close. They throw like a now screen, and we're closing in on them, and we got 4 or 5 guys encircling the guy with the ball.
Right.
He's making a miss one at a time. I'm like, there's a lot of athleticism. There's a lot of speed over there. The quarterback's nice.
Yeah, Rico. Shout out to Rico. Rico is a nice. PRMD's guy.
Is he? Okay, yeah, man. Yeah. That's a good football team. They got good coaches. I expect them to do really well this year.
Yeah. And so let's talk about some of our guys that played well. Excuse me. We had let's see. We had Ladarius, who is my cousin. He got an interception. And he took it back to the crib. Zymirius really had an interception too, but the skeptics won't allow that to. Okay. But he had an interception as well. I felt like a lot of guys really played well. Kamari Jackson is a guy that played well.
Really big runs. And to compliment some of those big runs, he grounded it out when we needed him. some of those inside runs.
He,
Man, he really played really well too. Sure did.
he is absolutely stepping up in a major way in the senior year. But he also told me that that's what he planned to do. Alex Christian played well as
Yes, he did.
well. I
Yep.
think he really stepped up big. And one of the underrated guys that they don't know about yet, but they're going to slowly find out as the season goes on, I believe, Brian Billingsley.
Yes.
I know a lot of times we talk a lot about Bill Billingsley, but
Yeah.
Brian Billingsley has stepped up big, had a touchdown.
Yep.
That touchdown was thrown by Tank, and Tank
Yep.
also converted a 2-point conversion as well. So we had a lot of guys that really stepped up to the plate and really played good football on Friday night.
That was a full team effort.
Yeah.
Offense had to play well and played well when we needed to. Defense stood up all night. Special teams made some nice plays. It was a quality game. Obviously, every game there's stuff that needs to be fixed and cleaned up, especially this early in the year. And we've worked on that this week. But no, overall, I was pleased with the game. And like I said, with that, especially, I knew we had our hands full per se, before we played him. But when that number 3 added him into the mix, and that really kicked them up a notch. I tell you, they do some good stuff over there.
Because there was a lot of people that thought we would just blow them out just because it was Holy Trinity, and they may not have strength in numbers, but they did have players. And I just never felt like they were a team that we would just absolutely blow out. Now but the possibility was there. Absolutely. I think realistically, this final score could have been somewhere around 34-16.
Yes.
And so
that's exactly what it should have ended up. And, it is what it is. We made some penalties. We have them probably about 8.5 minutes or so on the clock in the fourth quarter. We're up by, I believe, 2 touchdowns at this point.
Right.
And, we got a 3rd and long, and we get I believe it was a roughing the passer.
Yeah.
3rd and long. Now they're punting out of their own end zone. And I feel at that time we were rolling pretty good. Offense would have went down and scored and put another one on them. It was 1. No, we were up by 2 because then as that drive continued, the very next 3rd down after they got the first 15 yards first down, the very next one we get a targeting that kept the drive alive. I think that they were on the field for about 8 minutes. We couldn't get off the field.
Oh yeah, they definitely were.
Then we had the PI down on the other end. It was just one of those things where we had some penalties that kept them on the field and chewed some clock.
And I think they had the ball at least 85% of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, they scored. They finally got it down the field, and I think they finally punched it in after we should have been off the field, but we made. Excuse me about that. We made we had the not personal foul. We had the pass interference.
Yeah.
On 4th down in the end zone. That would have turned the ball over, and I believe the very next play was half the distance to the goal. I think they were on like a 1.5, 2 yard line.
Yeah,
they punched it in with 34 seconds on the clock. So it could have looked better, if you will. But man, I tell you what, at the end of the season, nobody asks you how; they ask you how many.
Yeah, definitely. So now that we've talked a little bit about some of our players, let's shift our focus a little bit to next week or this week. This week we have to travel. First time traveling not in games that matter.
Regular season.
Regular season. Going to West Orange.
Yeah.
And this game is a very big game. I think that West Orange is a very talented football team. But as I told you and as I told others, I've said that we have not seen a team like West Orange, but West Orange has not seen a team like Titusville. And I think that's an honest observation of the game. I think that the kids at Titusville remember last year they had West Orange on the ropes. In a very close game, West Orange ended up coming back and winning 24-21 last year. But Titusville gave them their all, and nobody really thought that Titusville could be competitive. What's some things that you've seen from West Orange on film? What are some things that they do well, some things that you are looking out for on Friday night?
So I think I went back and watched watched the West Orange game from last year, just to see, who was here. I feel, and I think most people would, I feel that this team that we're going to play this Friday night, I think is a little better team as a whole. Now, they definitely had some really good players last year, no doubt. But I think as a whole, I would say this team's a little better. This offensive line is by far bigger than what they put on the field last year. And I don't know if that was through the transfer portal or what have you, JV kids coming up. But, they're very big up front. They've got a quarterback who's a sophomore gunslinger. I believe his last name's Chung.
Yeah, AJ Chung.
Yeah, he will. He throws that ball into some really tight windows, and he does a pretty good job of it. He definitely is. We've got our secondary's got their hands full this week with him. At the helm. But up front, we're gonna have to get after it, and they're really big and really physical. But we got some guys too. So offensively, they do a good job in the spread game. They'll give you some 10 personnel, some trips and doubles. They'll a lot of motions, and they run some really good concepts. I think they're doing a good job over there coaching what they got, and so offensively, I think they've certainly got some weapons. Defensively, they're not as big up front, but they get after it. They've got. And you probably don't know more about this than me, but they've got a couple kids on the back, that are Power 4 commits.
Yeah.
I know one, I believe, is to Louisville. I think the other one, Wake Forest, maybe.
I don't know about that one, but I do know that one is.
We got a Louisville commit on the back. They got and they've got athletes throughout the secondary. They do a good job in man coverage. They do a good job in man match. They play some good zone. They'll show 2 and roll 1 or roll cover 3. So they do some good stuff back there. And the box is good. I told the kids all week, and I'm going to continue to tell them tomorrow, this is a game that's it's going to be a dogfight. It could come down to a last possession. I feel that if we play the way that we can play, I feel we're going to compete for a win. And but we got to play well. This isn't a team you can just roll the ball out and willy-nilly it. They've got some real weaponry over there that you better. We've got to play well.
Yeah, I definitely think that this is going to be one of the harder games to open up the season. I won't say that it's the hardest game. I think by far this is going to be the best quarterback that we've played and so far, and maybe even the best wide receiver room that we've had to play thus far.
They're good.
Yeah. So
I would put it on record. I think it's a fair assessment to say. Basically, looking at all the film that I've watched, I think this is the best team we've played so far. Regular season. And the other thing that this team has that, when you play these enormous Orlando schools, they've got an enrollment of 4,000 plus 4,500 kids.
Right.
They got guys on top of guys over there. They've got depth isn't a problem.
Yeah.
And, it's a good team. They're well coached, and they've got plenty of depth. So we got to play well.
In talking about depth, we had a few injuries on Friday night. Yep. It's unfortunate, but the injuries are part of the game. How do we adjust? How do we adjust with those significant losses or injuries that may have?
The good news is we have a little depth, in some of those positions. Obviously, when you lose a starter, you're going to take a little bit of a hit. But we've had a great week of working with guys that might not have been getting the starting reps, but they're going to play good, valuable, meaningful football. When we had after the injuries or the injury occurred last week, we were still able to continue on and carry on business as usual. So, it's kind of here we go with the old coach talk, but the next man up mentality and the next guy's up and so far he's answered the bell and that's just the way it's going to have to be.
So last week I saw something that I had not seen yet this season, but I knew that it was on the possibility docket, if you will. Tank was playing a little bit of defense last week.
Yeah.
Is that something that you think that y'all are going to go back to this week, or
Yeah, you never know. I mean, it's a spot 'em in type thing. Tank obviously is a heck of an athlete, and he can do a lot of things really well. But we're pretty good over there on the defensive side. But like we said, we got a guy that's got I believe a groin that's typically one of our 5 starters on the back end. That groin's been nagging him a little bit.
Yeah.
So if we need to go into the well and pull and get Tank to play some snaps, that's what we'll have to do.
Okay. No worries, no worries. And so some of the young guys, I've seen a lot of young guys getting
Yeah.
a lot of quality minutes. Let me see who some of the young guys I've saw out there.
Oh,
I've
you pick it.
seen
We're a pretty young team.
yeah, yeah.
Pretty young. There's a lot of young guys playing
Oh yeah.
football.
Little Priest has been balling. Yeah,
Yeah, he's
I
great.
like what I see from him. I
Yep.
think he has been stepping up in a major way when he gets opportunity.
Yep.
Samaj Glover has been playing good football as well. I
Doing a really
think
good job.
he wanted at one point wanted to give up and didn't want to play. And I'm intrigued every week as I see him grow up on the job because he kind of lost his passion for a second, but he's gotten back into the swing of things, and I think he's stepping up in a major way
Oh
at that
yeah,
linebacker.
he's having some fun out there. Listen, as much as this game can be work and a grind and all the stuff that goes into it, there's got to be some enjoyment / fun element of it. And I think he's
Right.
found his fun. We're having a good time. And listen, we work hard as anybody, but we still find a way to make it a good time. Because if it's not fun, no one wants to be there, including me. So.
Right.
We got to have a good time too. And I think he's turned the corner and he's found his enjoyment of football again. Yeah.
And one of the seasoned guys, but nevertheless one of the guys, Waylon Gardner. I have seen Waylon step up. Waylon does a lot of things for the football team. He's a long snapper, he's a punter, and he's playing linebacker. I have seen Waylon step up in a major way and be a leader. I think he showed little spurts of that last year, but I think he's fully embraced that role this year, and I'm liking what I'm seeing from him.
Yeah, I'd say you're on to something. He's had so far he's had a really good year. The stuff that he needed to fix and work on, he's been getting better at it every week. He's playing some big time football, and right now he's I think he's starting to find his groove, his rhythm. The game is starting to slow down for him. And once the game slows down for you and, you pick it up on your fast key reads and you're understanding, what they're trying to do and formations. And he's really he's grown up a lot, even since I've gotten there, not only just as a football player, but as a leader.
That's good stuff. Shout out to Waylon. Coach, this month for you and the Terriers could really be a make or break month. It's not really because it's not a lot of district games, but
Right.
it's a lot of statement games that are going to be played in this month. So this week you'll have West Orange. Next week you'll play Vieira. Vieira will come to Titusville next week. And Vieira has been playing quality football. And we'll get back to Brevard County football in a second. But then you'll go to Spruce Creek. Spruce Creek has been said to be one of the better teams in Volusia County this year. And then you'll finish off the month going to Egali, even though Egali is kind of injured right now, but they are still not a team that you can overlook because they have a quality group of athletes. So my question would be, how do you keep the guys focused, locked in, not looking ahead, and not also just not minimizing the challenge that is at hand?
Yeah, and I think that's one of those things. Here we go with the coach talk, but it really is a 1 week at a time thing. And as much as you say it was 1 week at a time, 1 week at a time, the way we practice, the way we watch film, everything is geared towards our Friday night opponent. We have no time to be looking down the road. We've got our hands full, in 2 days. Going through and making sure we're prepared for the job and the week and the task at hand that week really kind of prevents you from looking too far down the road because, we 48 hours, we got one, that we got to go put our best foot forward. So, we don't, and I don't even at this point in the year, you hear some of that kind of talk, through spring, through summer, maybe even through fall camp a little bit. But, once the season gets going, you get your routine, you get your grind going, it really does turn into a 1 week at a time thing. And we're focused on and concerned about what we got, the task at hand, so you have no time to worry about or think about what's going to happen in 2-3 weeks from now.
That's good stuff, and I respect that. Let's talk a little bit about the county as a whole. This year, I told the people that, especially on Spaces, I told everyone that would listen, I felt like this would be the year of development and coaching. Everybody was going to have to coach and really develop the talent that they have on their roster. And that has been something that we've seen so far. Like last week, Coco lost to Mainland, but that does not knock that Coco is still Coco until Coco is no longer
That's
Coco. Right. But what do you think about the county as a overall whole football and what they're playing right now? What do you think of the county and where we're playing football?
If first off, at the county as a whole, and obviously, where I was the last 5 years, particularly the last, let's say last year and the year before. If you look at what was graduated and what left, you got two Mr. Florida footballs.
Yeah.
You got an ESPN top 150 kid that has a national signing day, and ESPN's there to watch, and Hilson. Right. And obviously a slew of other, Division I kids. And then I know there's other schools around the county that had some success sending kids off that were good players as well. Now, I think we are a little bit in a lull. Now, don't get me wrong. I know there's some seniors out there that are, that are good and have some ability. But, if you look at some of the bigger names in the county, a lot of them are underclassmen.
Right.
You think of, the Rapale kid at Merritt Island.
Right.
He's an underclassman. Tank Harvey at Titusville. The Xavier kid.
The Corbin.
There's all the talk you're hearing that, not that I'm overly paying attention, but it doesn't take much to open up Twitter and you get your little feed. And it's primarily kids that are underclassmen. We are certainly in a position in the county right now where your better players, or the majority of the better players, are kids that still have more high school football ahead of them. So anytime that's the case, doesn't mean your quality of football is going to go down necessarily, but it does mean you're going to have to bring those kids along quicker and get for the stage faster. And I think that's one of those things that that certainly can be coaching, but like you said earlier, it's also about maturing. Some kids or players mentally at 14, 15, 16 years old struggle with adversity. They throw the temper tantrums. They want to pout. So those guys that can get past that quicker, and some of that is coaching, some of that is getting older by them maturing. And, so I do feel that we are in a bit of I don't want to say down, because I don't want to, when you look at the graduation cycle, we're not hearing a bunch of seniors, right? That. I mean, you know better than that. You pay better attention to me. So we certainly have a lot of focus on younger kids in the county. So, let's see what transpires of that. That doesn't mean you still can't make a playoff run. It still doesn't mean you can't win a title, but it's certainly going to be a little bit more difficult taking 15, 16, 17-year-old kids and 17, 18, 19-year-old kids.
Yeah, I definitely think that this is going to be a very, very interesting year. Like any given Friday night, anything can happen, and I think that's what we're kind of seeing now. Like with some big games coming up this week, really season-defining games. I think Coco is going to play Vero, and I think that'll be a good game between those two. Rockledge is going to go over and play Cardinal Mooney. Egali plays Heritage, so it's a lot of things going on this weekend that really will be a statement to where we are There was a lot of people saying, "Oh, Coco is falling off," or they are kind of questioning if Coco is still Coco. And I believe that Coco is Coco until Coco is not Coco.
Until Coco doesn't play or doesn't practice on Thanksgiving morning, I don't want to hear anything out of anybody.
Right. And I think that's what's most important.
I mean, 18 years in a row now.
Yeah.
I think 18 years in a row they've been to the Final Four or better. I can't name it. I mean, maybe St. Thomas or somebody, but I can't think of another program that's been able to do that, particularly when you talk about two different head coaches doing it.
Right.
You know, it's so hard to be the guy to follow the guy.
Right.
And then that guy takes it to another level. That's just unheard of.
And that I'm glad you said that, because there were people who were talking about if the standard was being upheld by Coco and Snyder. And I think that speaks to, if you've played on or after Thanksgiving for 18 years, regardless of who's at the helm, it shows that there is a standard being kept. So I definitely can speak to that. Well, Coach, this week we got one. I think this will be a very tough game. I think it's a winnable game, but I think we are going to not have to go down without a fight. We're gonna have to show some grit. But I think that's something that has been the testament of this season, because we have over the last few weeks we've spotted teams' points, and we've showed resilience, and we've showed ability to come back from whatever's been thrown at us. Last week we were able to get a touchdown right before halftime. The week before we were down 13-0, and so we have kind of taken on this role as the second half Warriors. Do you believe that that's something that you can kind of do this week?
I hope like heck we can, because I tell you, if I could convince my kids, particularly the offense, if I could convince them that, man, hey, we're coming out in the second quarter, really internally believe that, I think we'd get going a little quicker offensively. It's kind of funny, and sometimes you get weird things like that with teams. I was talking to Coach TJ today when he was with me at Coco. We had, I'm trying to think of what year that was. 2021 season. We had a really good defense. We were a really good team. We lost in the state championship, and you could bet the farm, for whatever reason. It drove me nuts, Coach Folston nuts. It drove all of us crazy. For whatever reason, if the first possession defense went out, we were going to give up a touchdown. We were going to do something to give away 7 points, and then we'd start playing, our brand of football, and it'd be lights out. But even in the state championship game, that happened. We gave up the quick 7. After that, we pretty much shut them down the rest of the night. But I'm hoping that we can break that cycle, and we've really actually been working on that, to be honest. Starting faster, trying to put players in positions to where they can have reliable / comfortable, successful plays early on to build that rhythm. And we've been working on that this week, and hopefully we can get out there and get going a little quicker than we have.
Last question. We've struggled a little bit on our special teams, field goals, and how have we kind of worked on building the kicker's confidence and helping him to have short-term memory?
Yeah, some of that was, so as you can recall, our debacle with field goal PAT unit against Heritage. If we can kick field goals, there is no overtime. We win the game. We kick the field goal, we win the game. Realistically, we gave up 5 points. We missed the field goal, which was essentially a extra point distance that would have been 3, and we had 2 of them that were blocked. So there's your 5 points that we needed to get past Heritage. We worked on it a tremendous amount that following Monday, and we kicked. We were 25 for 25 with a rush, and felt like we had it fixed, and we did have it fixed Friday night, the good news is, the blocking was fine. Blocking was great. Snap was great. Hold was great. Just pulled it a little bit. And we've been working working with him. I had a kicking coach come out, spend a little time with him. We went through it today under a rush, moved the ball around a little bit, and we were successful today at practice. Right. So if we can get that to translate onto a Friday night, we're going to be doing all right. But we rushed it. We tried to block it. I even put if anybody can block this field goal, I will buy you a pizza immediately following practice. So the effort was through the roof, and we blocked blocked all of it. So coaching wise, snap, hold, punt, blocking, all that, we've done everything we can do. We just got to get it done in a game.
All right. Yeah. Well, it's nothing else we can talk about other than the fact that we got us a game on Friday, and it's going to be a good one. I think that if we can go out and get a win, this will be a quote unquote statement victory for you. Whatever that means. Whatever that means. Definitely. So thank you for coming on, Coach. Thank you for every week. Good luck this Friday, and let's come back with a win.
Let's do it. Appreciate you.
Yes,
Take
sir.
Care, guys. Thanks.
Yep. So that's another week of us talking Titusville High School football. Shout out to Coach Diesel. Shout out to the Terriers. We have a very big game this week, and I hope that those who can make it and go out and attend the game will definitely go out and attend the game. I think it will be very, very, very competitive, and it will, not for nothing, I think it'll be one of the better games in Central Florida coming up this week. So, usually we would give out a player of the game. Unfortunately, fortunately, unfortunately, however you want to look at it, the ACY had the week off as the league. So the Little League Terriers did not play a game this week. So this week we will just give out our player of the game, our player of the week. We'll give that to the Titusville Terriers defense. Excuse me. The Titusville Terriers defense. I think they played exceptionally well on Friday. They really had 3 interceptions. I forgot that Dwight Jenkins had one in the first half, and then Ladarius Faison had a pick 6, as well as Zymerius Brown. He had a pick 6, but that was called back. But nevertheless, we still had 3 interceptions, and so I really felt like we played quality brand of football this week, and I was really impressed with how they just grew up on the job, just knowing these guys, knowing the work that they're putting in, knowing how Coach Diesel is passionately coaching these guys up, and everyone else. So shout out to Coach Diesel, shout out to Coach Scott Diesel, shout out to Coach TJ, Coach Tay Murray, Coach Tay Hickson, and of course Coach Onion, Coach Garcia, Coach Guillen. It's a bunch of guys out there. Coach Archie. No big eyes, no little U's. Shout out to everybody that is working diligently with the Terriers. So we out of here. It's been another good week, man. I just want y'all to know that DeVille is where it's at. I'm going to let y'all know that every chance I get. I want y'all to know that DeVille is where it's at, and this week is going to be a really big game, and I'm excited. I really think we can get the dub this week, and I'll be excited and rooting them on to see if they get the win. Either way, I hope that y'all have a wonderful evening, and this is the end of Titusville Coaching Show. We'll see y'all next week.